Okay, so we have our first major head scratcher of this free agency period, Javon Kinlaw, who back in 2020 was drafted with the 14th overall pick. If you remember, the San Francisco 49ers traded away DeForest Buckner for a first-round pick and then used that first-round pick on Kinlaw. The logic was, hey, maybe we can get a cheaper player who can get some similar production, maybe not be as good as Buckner, but could be a lot cheaper. So that was the logic, and to be honest, one that I think on paper I get. Unfortunately, Kinlaw just did not work out at all for the 49ers. They ultimately decided to let him walk after he had just 5 sacks in his 4 years with the 49ers and only 1 year played really significant playing time. He had 544 snaps his most recent year with the 49ers. Actually, he had around 500 his first year as well, but ultimately it did not work well with San Francisco. Last year with the Jets, he signed a 1 year, it was a $7 million deal, and this is something that happens, right? When you have a player who was a high draft pick, even if they don't play well, their rookie deal, a lot of times teams will still say, let's put a little bit of extra money, see if we can figure you out. You had so much talent, you were drafted in the first round, see if we can figure something like that out. Although I believe some of that was potentially some incentive bonus or something, but either way, that was his deal. And for the Jets, it again didn't really seemingly work out. Now, he did get some decent sack numbers, 4.5 sacks, and I'm assuming that's part of why this deal was made. He did have a quote-unquote career year and was shown to be at least a capable player, but not really much more than that, and honestly, really probably shouldn't be anything more than a depth piece. I was curious, I looked on the Jets subreddit, and they were saying good riddance. They were happy to see him go. That being said, okay, the Commanders could use, an extra player here. So going after Kinlaw, okay, fine. I can understand it. I'm not mad at just simply signing Javon Kinlaw. What's confusing to me is how much money they're giving him, which is reportedly a $45 million deal for 3 years. So $15 million a year for $30 million of that guaranteed for a player who really I don't think has lived up to any kind of draft stock whatsoever. So they like him. They want to make this move. It is a head scratcher. As of right now, it doesn't make a ton of sense for a team that, listen, improving the defense is something they definitely had to do. I mean, it was just, I wouldn't say it was awful. It actually played a lot better later on in the year, but was not good for a good chunk of the year. I think that is certainly fair to say. It's a question. It's a question here, and I'm trying to think of what the logic potentially could have been, especially when they did release Jonathan Allen not too long ago. So why are we, I guess what's the logic here? What did they see? And in fact, Jonathan Allen, I was looking up the contract details. It was 1 year, $15.5 million that he was due. So basically, they moved off of Jonathan Allen to get a player who has played worse and is younger. In fairness, is younger, and I get all that, right? There's other reasons why you would make the move, but I think the issue is I just don't think Kinlaw is that great, and I don't get why they were impressed with what the Jets. I mean, the Jets signed him to a 1 year deal and said we don't need you anymore, but somehow the 49ers were, or not the 49ers, somehow the Commanders were so impressed they wanted to give him a big deal, and interior defensive line, kind of up the middle in general, isn't their biggest issue, in my opinion. So they really need edge help, or I think they could use some players in the secondary as well. So it's just a head scratcher for a team that does have a lot of money, and we'll see how else they use it. But so far, Deebo Samuel and Kinlaw, I don't know if that's exactly what you were hoping for if you're a Commanders fan, but off-season is still young. We'll see. I'm sure they have a plan, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Kinlaw to the Commanders. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.